All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Friday. Happy Friday to everyone out there. June 23rd. We got a decent-sized MLB slate to jump into in today's video. We're going to go into each and every game. We'll talk about the game. We'll break it down. I'll give you my thoughts and my lean or leans on the games. But all my final plays, those will be in the pinned comment. In terms of yesterday, let's drop a womp womp. Red Sox money line. That was, I mean, they were plus 142, so they're big time dogs, but yikes, they get smoked. Pirates had the lead at first, end up losing by 2. The Padres and Giants, the Padres scored 1,000,000 runs themselves, and our only hit of the day was Ronald Acuna Jr. over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. And he barely hit that. So, yeah, we even got lucky with that one. Not the best Thursday for us there, but you got to own your losses, and that is what we're doing right now. But, yeah, look to bounce back today, guys. Before we do get into the video, I want to talk to you guys about Outlier. Outlier, my favorite sports betting research tool. If you watch each and every day, you've heard plenty about Outlier. But if you watch each and every day and have not jumped on board with Outlier yet, you're missing out. You can click the link in the description or in the pinned comment. Get yourself a 7-day free trial. Let's go ahead and jump into Outlier 2 so we can show you guys what you are missing out on. This is the player prop screen. It has every single player prop that is available on FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, or BetMGM. It is awesome, guys, and it goes through, breaks down their trends, their last 5, last 10, last 20, head-to-head this year and last year. You can kind of look for these green bars, and you're like, okay, you know what? Minus 800, this is too much juice. Well, let's turn the minimum odds to like minus 150ish, right? Okay, well, Kevin Podlow here, under 0.5 runs. He's hit in 5 of his 5, 10 of his last 10. Let's click in and kind of analyze it here. All right, so we're looking at it. He has not scored a run whatsoever. Has not scored a run this entire season, but looks like he's only played 1 game this year. So, you know, there's not much of a sample size, but nonetheless, you go and break things down. How about right here, under 0.5 bases? Okay, he did it last game on the season. He's doing it every now and then. How does he bat against? They're going up against a left-handed pitcher tonight. Let's find him. Where is he? Rengifo, right here. He's batting 2-9 on the season. Against a left-handed pitcher, he's batting 236. So maybe we don't take the under because he's batting a little bit better. It's really cool to break it down, guys. They also have the trends tab, which is one of my favorite tabs here. JD Martinez failed to exceed 0.5 bases in 7 of his last 10 games. Gives you the breakdown there. Pete Alonso exceeded 0.5 in 17 of his last 24. They go ahead and find trends in the market for you guys. So that's enough about Outlier, but it really is a cool tool. Use the link in the description as well as the pinned comment, and you guys can get a 7-day free trial. You will not regret it. I can tell you that with a straight face. It really is my favorite sports betting research tool. But let's go ahead and jump into game number 1. Hit that subscribe button first. Hit that like button as well. I think today may be the day. We're that close. Maybe the day we hit 25K. We shall see. But let's go ahead and jump into Pittsburgh taking on Miami in this one. On the mound for the Marlins is Jesus Luzardo, and Luis Ortiz is on the mound for the Pirates here. Yesterday, Miami wins this one 6-4. Braxton Garrett got the start there. And Pittsburgh just has not been winning games. I think it's like 10 or 11 losses in a row now, which makes a little bit of sense. Like, we've been kind of calling their bluff all year long, saying, you know, when they're on that streak, they had not played anyone good. Now every team's kind of catching up to them. In this game here, I think I'm going to lean towards Miami. Minus 165 is way too much juice to be paying, so I don't think this makes it in its way to a final play. But nonetheless, I don't really trust Pittsburgh right now. You're going to have to get a win before I consider leaning towards you again. I also don't hate Miami on the run line for the value at plus 120. They've covered that in 4 of their last 6 when they are favored. In terms of the total, we're sitting at 8 runs here. Again, yesterday's game, a little bit more high scoring than we would have thought, 6-4. And again, that's kind of why I got to see Pittsburgh win. They burned us yesterday. We had them on the run line. I just don't trust them anymore whatsoever. But that one was way over at 10. I do think that this one can stick under. I think that this is going to be a spot where a lot of people see a 6-4 game and say, why is the total at 8? And I'm going to kind of follow that line move. So I'm going to lean towards the under 8 in this one. All right, we have the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Atlanta Braves here. Each of these teams, both of them, I should say, are on streaks right now. This Reds team is doing something spectacular. The Braves have won 8 straight games. Luke Weaver's on the mound for the Reds, 1-2 with a 6.47 ERA. AJ Smith-Schaefer on the mound for the Braves. He's 1-1 with a 2.03 ERA. Braves are minus 150 over on DraftKings. It's a decent amount of juice, but I do think that the Cincinnati team is due for a loss. They've been cleaning up as of late. But it's not like their strength of schedule has been that great. They have played some good teams, so I don't want to fully take it away. We've talked about them plenty on the channel. I love what they're doing and really do like the fact that, they're a young team, but, they get Votto back. They're getting some vets back and just playing good baseball. But I do think this Braves team is just that much better. So I'm going to lean towards the Braves. Minus 150 is some decent juice, but if we can catch it there, I do think that, it's better than where I imagine it may be by game time, because this opened up at minus 140. It's all the way up to minus 150 now, so it might be even worse by the time the game. In terms of the total, 11 runs. Yeah, both these offenses have been scoring decently, right? Atlanta's going to give you a floor of like 4 to 5 runs, which is really good. Same thing with Cincinnati. But nonetheless, I do still think that this is an under-type game. 11 is just way too high for me. If this was a 9.5 game, I would probably lean towards the over. So you could see the sliver of margin there that I'm looking at. But in order to hit this over, you have to get to 12 runs. Can they do it? No kidding. Both offenses have been playing well. But will they do it? I just don't necessarily think so. So I'm going to lean towards the under as well. And I will say this, if you are still riding high on the Reds, keep doing it. Keep doing it. I wouldn't let this, this commentary turn you off of it, because they've been proving everyone wrong for damn near a month now, right? So I don't want to make it seem like, oh my God, I was so excited to bet the Reds as underdogs today, and then Ev comes on here and he's like, no, I'm taking the Braves. It's like, I'm gonna be leaning towards the Braves. Don't take that if you don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? This Reds team is playing some good baseball. All right, Tampa Bay taking on the Royals. What if I told you the Royals won yesterday? Yeah, this Tampa Bay team, I don't want to say they're in shambles, but they've lost 4 of their last 5. They've lost 6 of their last 10. And Shane McClanahan was pitching yesterday, and they still went out there and got the loss. Kind of crazy here. Obviously, the Rays are the better team, though. I'm going to lean towards them in some sort of a potential parlay throw-in, which let me know in the comments if you guys do want a Friday parlay. If you don't remember, last Friday, we did a parlay, a plus 754 parlay, and cashed it. So maybe we do that again. Let me know in the comments if you do want the parlay of the day. But nonetheless, guys, Eflin on the mound for the Rays going up against Greinke. Greinke's had actually, I was going to say starts, but he's had innings or stretches where he looks good, but still isn't really putting it together here. And Eflin's actually had a couple bad starts in a row here. I wouldn't say bad, but a couple not like him starts in a row here. But nonetheless, I do think this is a Rays game. We probably throw Tampa Bay money line in whatever parlay if we cook one up today, because I just do think that this is a bounce back spot. I don't think they lose 2 to the Royals. I just cannot see that happening. In terms of the total 8 runs, I do think that this one goes up and over. I think this Tampa Bay team, coming off of losses, I feel like they go out there and score a decent, a run total more often than not. So hopefully they do that again today against Greinke. I do think that, it's a good spot in terms of he's been letting up a decent amount of runs. He's had blow-up innings, and you do not want to be facing the Rays when your pitcher is a 1 inning can ruin it all type of pitcher. And Greinke has done that, a couple times this season. So hopefully that happens again today, as I do like the over 8 runs here, and I think Tampa Bay carries most of that weight. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments if you do want to, ride with a parlay of the day here. We'll cook something up. All right, we have the Tigers taking on the Twins here. Minnesota winning the last 2 games against the Red Sox. Like I said, we were on the wrong side of the Red Sox game yesterday. Detroit taking 2 of 3 against Kansas City. These 2 teams just played not a series ago, or was a series ago, to be completely honest. But Detroit actually won 3 of those last 4. Now you have Minnesota here on the money line at minus 140. I think that they come back and say, we cannot believe we lost this team 3 out of the last 4 games. So I'm taking Minnesota here. I do really like this spot. Maeda's on the mound for them, 0-4 with a 9 flat ERA. Do I love that? No, but I do think that this Minnesota team, the offense started to get it going against the Red Sox. 5 runs scored and 6 runs scored in the last 2 games there. And I think they're coming off of a good little spark with a complete game from Joe Ryan. So I do like Minnesota in this spot. I think you're getting good odds at minus 140. The only thing that I would kind of say skeeves me out a little bit is the fact that you are getting those minus 140 odds. I have a feeling, that these should have been like a minus 160, minus 165, but pitching has something to do with it, obviously. Joey Wentz on the mound for the Tigers there, so it's not really afraid of him either. Give me Minnesota here on the money line. In terms of the total, 9 runs. Again, this Minnesota offense seems to be cooking. This Detroit offense is scoring a lot of runs, but also putting a lot of zeros up. So I'm hoping that they can score a few runs today, because we are looking at the over 9 runs here. That's even odds over on DraftKings. So I like to see that plus as well. But yeah, give me Minnesota money line as well as the over. All right, Philadelphia taking on the Mets. Phillies coming off of 2 straight losses to Atlanta, and then the Mets coming off of losing 2 of 3, but also 2 straight against Houston here. Right now, the Phillies are favored -116 over on FanDuel. I think that that's a fair price. The Phillies were red hot before that Atlanta series. And remember, Atlanta is also hot right now, so it's not like they went out and lost to Joe Schmo's team or anything like that. They lost to a good team, so I think that this Phillies offense and team overall is going to stay hot. Taijuan Walker on the mound for them today, 7-3 with a 4.31 ERA. Senga on the mound for the Mets, but Walker has been dealing. Last 3 starts, ready? I'll go through them. 7 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 0.7 whip with 8 Ks. Next start, 5 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 0.8 K, 5 Ks. And then his next start, 8 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 0.8 whip, and 8 Ks. The guy has been dealing. I do want to throw the caveat in there that 2 of those 3 starts, Detroit and the Oakland Athletics. So just want to throw that in there, but nonetheless, you know, he's got to have the confidence coming right now. So I like this spot here for them today, -160. I think that they roll the Mets. In terms of the total, I like 9.5 as well, because again, I think that this Phillies offense is going to kind of return to form, which was prior to, I would say, in that Arizona series. They scored a decent amount of runs. They've kind of cooled off, still winning ball games, cooled off a little bit, but you can also look at this Mets team and say they've been scoring a lot of runs as well. So I like the over 9.5. Do I think that makes it into its final play? Probably not as much of a chance as the Phillies money line does, because I do think this is a good spot for the Phils today. All right, Yankees taking on the Rangers. We do not have any odds or anything ready for this right now. The Rangers have won 4 of the last 5. The Yankees have lost 3 of their last 5. On the mound for the Yankees right now is Clark Schmidt. He's 2-6 with a 4.65 ERA. Dane Dunning on the mound for the Rangers, 6-1 with a 2.71 ERA. You guys know I'm a sucker for betting the Texas Rangers. I think we might get some decent odds here as well, so I'm going to look at them. But again, we got to figure out what those odds are and what the total is going to be before we pull the trigger on that. So keep an eye on the pinned comment for any final plays in this game. We just don't have much to go off of as of right now. All right, guys, before we get going to the next game, I do want to talk to you guys about our channel memberships on the channel, guys. We call you guys the ballers. We do have plenty of you right now, and I cannot thank the ballers enough that are ballers. But if you do want to become a baller, consider joining today. It's $2.99 a month, which obviously is very cheap. You get the usual custom emojis, logo next to your name, priority reply to comments, all that good stuff. But where I think we distinguish ourselves and differentiate ourselves is we create models, and we actually have a model building series, sports betting model building series. It was for the NBA, but we have 2 free model videos right now, so that's a little taste of what you can get. Then a 7-part series on how to build a model for the NBA, and we're also providing an MLB model every single day for you guys right now that gives a run line prediction, a total prediction, as well as a money line prediction. I've been, you know, putting that out every single weekday for the entire season. A lot of good feedback. It is profitable, so that is a really good sort of I think a thing that like differentiates us, because you can go to any website and pay hundreds of dollars for their models or their predictions, but here on the channel we're just giving it to you via Google Sheets link every single day for $2.99 a month. So I also want you guys to consider, you know, doing that to support the channel. Like I always tell you guys, don't just do it because you're buying a model. Like, come on, support the channel if you do want to support the channel. If you don't want to, then I don't mind. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, or leave a hate comment if you really do hate me. But consider becoming a baller today, guys. Again, $2.99 a month. Thank you so much to all the ballers out there. You guys are a big part in how we create content and the quality of the content. So consider doing that today, guys. Again, just $2.99 a month. It's half the price of a Starbucks drink that you're going to buy later on today, right? It helps support the channel a lot. But let's go ahead and dive into this Mariners-Orioles game here. Baltimore favored right now on the money line, only slightly, though. Seattle coming off of losing 2 of 3 against the Yankees, and Baltimore splitting against Tampa Bay. Game 1, they win 8-6, then they get kind of clobbered 7-2 there. And then when you're looking at the Mariners here, they've been kind of up and down, win-loss, 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 that type of thing, which is tough to bet on, but I do think that they can match up with this Orioles team well, and you're getting even odds over on DraftKings. Logan Gilbert on the mound as well. I don't hate him. I think I'm going to lean towards the Mariners here. I was fairly split down the middle in this game, though, so I could be completely transparent there. Like, I like this Orioles team. I talk about them a lot. I think they have a sneaky, shouldn't even be sneaky, but a good offense. They can kind of compete with anyone. They have a couple guys pitching now. You know, Tyler Wells, Gibson. It's like even Bradish. You know what I mean? It's like they have pitchers that are actually kind of performing maybe above expectations or at expectations, that type of thing. So I don't want to slight the Orioles here. I just think the value is going to be on the Mariners today. I think that they're a team that can beat this Orioles ball club. In terms of the total, 8.5. Like I said, I like the Orioles offense. I also think the Seattle offense hopefully is getting cooking. They scored 10 runs against New York, so maybe they go out there and do something similar to that today. Let's lean towards the over in this one. All right, Toronto taking on the Athletics. Don't need to spend too much time here. Bassett on the mound for the Jays. James Kaprielian on the mound for the Athletics. Minus 295 now over on FanDuel are the best odds for this Toronto ball club today. If we go throw them in, I do think it's going to be some sort of a parlay play, which again, we might be dropping a Friday parlay here. We'll have to see. But nonetheless, guys, I don't think that the A's are anything to consider right now. If they will go and win this game or win some games, sure, but you're kind of crazy if you are betting them. The only thing that I could consider, and I've said it before, is looking at Oakland on the run line because you're going to get good odds, and they've actually been keeping that close. Didn't happen yesterday. I told you guys that that could be a consideration yesterday. They ended up losing by 5 runs, but nonetheless, they still, as underdogs, have covered that plus 1.5 in 7 of their last 10 games and 4 of their last 5. I don't necessarily think it's a smart play or anything today, but for plus money and plus 1.5, sometimes you do got to consider that. In terms of the total 9 runs here, this Toronto offense, I really want them to kind of prove themselves to me before I take the over, because my mind does go and lean towards the over, but I think we stick away from it today altogether because I wouldn't take the under. A lot of Oakland games, in this season, not as of late, have been, a bunch of high-scoring games or anything like that because their pitching staff, anyone can drop 10 runs on them at any given time. So that's why I don't really consider the under. I do want to look at the over, but this Toronto ball club just has to prove it to me first. So I think I'm staying away from that total today. All right, we have Cleveland taking on Milwaukee here. Milwaukee coming off losing 2 of 3 against Arizona, and Cleveland coming off of winning 4 straight. They swept their last series, but was against the aforementioned team, the A's. So I don't want to put too much weight into that. That being said, the A's did keep it close with them too. So kind of worth noting that Cleveland, yes, they got the sweep, but was it that quality of a sweep? Not necessarily sure. Nonetheless, here we're looking at Shane Bieber on the mound for the Guardians, 5-4 with a 3.5 ERA. He's had a couple rough starts this year, including last start's performance. 7 1/3 pitched, 5 earned runs, a 1.23 whip, which isn't all that bad, but not many Ks there. Only 5 strikeouts in the loss against Arizona. Wade Miley on the mound for the Brewers here. He's coming off of a start in which, you would definitely take against Pittsburgh. 5 innings pitched, a 0.8 whip, no earned runs, and 4 Ks. I think that there's some value in the Brewers today. I think Bieber is the better pitcher. Yes, coming off of a start, right? Wade Miley coming off a good one. You can make the argument that maybe you ride Wade Miley today. So I think I'm just going to look at this Brewers team and say, okay, you know what? Cleveland, I don't really believe in their sweep. I think that this Brewers offense started to cook. They did score 1 run in 2 games against Arizona, but prior to that, they had 5 runs in every game against Pittsburgh, and then they scored 7 runs in 1 game against Arizona, and you're getting them at plus 136 odds today. Now, this may be me going down a slippery slope like I did with the Red Sox yesterday, being like, oh, that's some good value for a team that can score a lot of runs, and the Red Sox go and get spanked yesterday, right? So I get that, but I do still think that this is a Brewers team that can compete with the Cleveland Guardians, and Cleveland at minus 150 just does not tickle my fancy. So I like the value of the Brewers at plus 136. I think they can pull this game in a win outright. In terms of the total, 8 runs. Like I said, I'm kind of thinking that the Brewers put up some runs today, even though it is against Shane Bieber. But like I said, Shane Bieber maybe kind of carries that bad start into today. So I'm going to go on a limb here and say this game's going to go over. Just the slightest, though. I'm not that confident in it, but you do have a plus 105 value over on Caesars right now, so I do like to see that as well. But I like the Brewers money line, and then the over in that order. You know what I mean? I don't really want to say that the over is my. Wouldn't stick myself in the mud or whatever the saying is for the over today. All right, the Sox are going at it. The White Sox taking on the Red Sox here. Red Sox are favored on the road. Lucas Frozen Yogurt Gelato is on the mound for the White Sox, 5-4 with a 3.54 ERA. Brian Bayo on the mound for the Red Sox, 4-4 with a 3.49. He's been up and down. Coming off a good start, though. 2 good starts, both against the Yankees in his last couple starts here. Keeping the whip on average below 1 in those starts. Decent amount of strikeouts as well. I'm going to trust him today. I think it's a good bounce back spot for the Red Sox, but yesterday the Red Sox did that. They whomped up and down the field. You know what I mean? So it's tough to bet them today when they just burned me yesterday, but I do still think that they are the better team. I don't like Frozen Yogurt on the mound for the White Sox either, so I'm leaning towards the Red Sox. In terms of the total, I went back and forth on this one because I think that this is going to be a sloppy game, right? Both these offenses, I guess the Red Sox, we thought that they were going to kind of return to form. So I don't really have the strongest of opinions here. I do think that obviously both these pitchers, even though Bayo has been pitching well, have had a couple blow-up spots this season. So maybe that happens. And when you could hear it in my voice, I'm going to lean the over, but like, do I love the over? No, not at all. My main lean in this game is going to be towards the Red Sox on the money line. All right, guys, if you enjoy player props, if you have enjoyed playing on sites like Prize Picks or No House Advantage or Underdog, you have to go ahead and check out Sleeper. Sleeper I've been loving as of late, and I tell you guys about it both on, Instagram Reels and TikTok, because we've been throwing in tons of Sleeper picks. Where they distinguish themselves is not just this structured payout format, 3 times for 2 for 2, yada, 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 right? They have dynamic payouts weighted by the plays and picks that you select. They each have their own multiplier. The more you throw in, obviously, the more you have the chance to win. You can win up to 100 times over on Sleeper, which is absolutely crazy. I like it because you can find the value over there. For example, a couple days ago, we posted on Instagram Reels, we had a 2-pitcher slip, right? Usually on Prize Picks, you pick two pitchers. I picked their under 5.5 hits allowed each, and that would be a 3 times if we hit, right? Well, it was a 3.64 times because we found the value over on Sleeper, in which you cannot, tip your nose at. That is some good value. So go ahead and check out Sleeper, guys. If you use the link in the description or the pinned comment, you're gonna get 100% of your first deposit matched up to $100, which obviously is a no-brainer as well. Go check it out. Super easy to use, super fun. Go download the app before you even deposit. Click that link, download the app. You don't have to deposit yet, and just play around. You'll see how cool it is. So go check out Sleeper today, guys. They also do promo squares and everything like that, like all the other sites, which you do love to see as well. All right, we got Colorado taking on the Angels here right now. Colorado, heavy underdogs at home. Makes a little bit of sense, though. In terms of where the Angels are, they're coming off of losing 2 of 3 against the Dodgers. I kind of feel like this is going to be a get-right spot for the Angels in a victory, but I don't know if they go ahead and blow them out. So I'm going to lean towards Colorado on the run line, plus 1.5 at home. And then we have a total of 11.5 runs. You guys know what I'm going to say. I'm leaning towards the under because why? You still got to hit the ball in order to hit it out of the park in the altitude. And Colorado at home still has hit more unders this year than they have overs. So come on, guys. It's just altitude. You still got to hit it. If we get proved wrong, then okay, we can start looking at overs. But this Colorado offense has not been cooking. And honestly, this Angels offense, though they were cooking, they've scored 0 runs in 2 straight games. So you can either be on my side being like the bats are a little cold, or you could be the glass half full type of person and say, well, the bats are ready to explode. But nonetheless, guys, I still want to see an over hit here in this series prior to jumping in and saying, game 1, we're going to score 12 runs. That's what it is. So I'm going to lean towards the under as well. But again, I'm weirdly on the Colorado side here. I think it's going to be a closer game than people may expect because I don't think this Angels offense is really cooking right now. In terms of pitching, Kyle Freeland on the mound for the Rockies and Patrick Sandoval on the mound for the Angels. I almost said Pablo Sandoval. Shout out to him. All right, guys, if you're still watching at 22 minutes in, one thank you. Give yourself a cheers and applause. Here we go. But comment 22 if you are still watching at 22 minutes in. We've been getting a lot of the why is everyone commenting this lately, which is so funny to me, which you guys are probably getting bored of, but I'm like, I read that. I read every comment, and I'm like, that's amazing. I love it. Also, shout out to Patrick Sandoval. If you want to drop Patrick Sandoval's name in the comments, do that in another comment. 22, and then comment again, Patrick Sandoval. We'll really throw the people that didn't make it this far in the video. We'll throw them way off. So go ahead and do that. But let's keep the train moving here. We got the Padres taking on the Nationals, and this one, Musgrove on the mound for the Padres, who are coming off of a losing series against San Francisco. They did finally get the win yesterday in a game in which we took the under, and they scored 10 runs. 10-0 was that final score. I told you guys San Fran was due, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. Nationals have Patrick Corbin on the mound, and the Nationals are coming off of also a bad series here, or I wouldn't even say series, but losing to Arizona. They lost 2 of 3 against St. Louis. They lose 3 straight against Miami, 2 of 3 against Houston. They're not playing good baseball, and the odds kind of show that. So as much as I do think that this Padres team wins this game, they're kind of untouchable today at minus 270, minus 275. I don't even like the odds for the run line. If they win this game by 2 runs, you're still getting minus 134 on FanDuel. No, count me out. What I do like is the over 8 runs here. Hopefully Washington can at least give you what they've been doing, which is about a floor of 3 runs, which, yes, that's low, but if San Diego can go out there and carry some momentum, even 50% of what we saw yesterday, we have a really good chance of cashing the over here with 2 pitchers that, are no strangers to letting up a decent amount of runs. So I am going to lean towards the over here. That's probably my might only lean on the game because, again, San Diego, this is a San Diego game, or it should be a San Diego game, but the odds just are not there. I don't really want to consider Washington, but they've just been playing terrible baseball. All right, the Dodgers taking on the Astros. Sheehan on the mound for the Dodgers and JP France on the mound for the Astros. I think the value is going to be on the side of the Astros today, weirdly enough. We haven't really seen much, obviously, out of Sheehan, so I don't want to, give too much or read too much into it. JP France, we've seen plenty of, and, pitching decent. I would say the word is decent's fine. I don't hate him, don't love him, but I think we're going to back him today. They are coming off of 2 strong wins against the Mets. The Dodgers coming off of 2 quality wins against a decent team in the Angels, but only winning those 2-0. So even their offenses weren't cooking going into that. So I am going to lean towards Houston. I'm also going to take a peek at the under 8.5 right now. I think there's some decent value there. This Houston team, yes, they've scored a bunch of runs in their last game, 10 runs scored. But prior to that, they were kind of bouncing around, from 1 to 4 runs. And like I just said, the Dodgers bats, they are cold right now. They're still getting wins, mainly those last 2 wins, but not scoring a lot of runs. So that I anticipate continues again today. All right, and our last game on the slate is going to be San Francisco taking on Arizona. Obviously, San Francisco coming off the losing streak. Arizona right now, plus 160 on the money line is very tempting. But what I actually like is Arizona on the run line here. They've covered that in 7 of their last 9 games here. Minus 125 odds for plus 1.5. I do like that spot. Do I think San Francisco can win the game? Yes, I think they can bounce back and win the game, obviously. But nonetheless, I do like Arizona, and I also like the over in this game. Arizona's been giving you some runs as of late, and San Francisco, prior to dropping 0 runs yesterday, had been scoring plenty of runs, so you do like to see that as well. I like Arizona on the run line. Could also entertain me with San Francisco money line, but not for those odds. But I like the run line because I think it's going to be a run game and a high-scoring game. And that is all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.